Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of The Upside of Falling Down by Rebekah Crane, performed by Alana Kerr. I was born twice. The first time was on July 9th to Paul and Mimi Haas in Cleveland, Ohio. My mother died 6 years later. My parents hadn't conceived another child, and my father never remarried. I was born with brown eyes and brown hair, and for 18 years, I was, for the most part, healthy. I was delivered again on June 18th, just weeks before my 19th birthday. The nurses said I was born unconscious, with ash tangled in the burned ends of my hair. Rescue workers pulled me from the belly of an airplane, where I was stuck between two seats like a cushioned sandwich. There was no mother to gaze down at me in amazement, or cradle me if I cried, but according to my nurse, Stephen, there were a plethora of camera crews and flashing lights. Out of the wreckage of that day, which included 30 dead bodies, I was a miracle. Amid so much death and destruction, I was born. For a day, I lay in the hospital, unconscious, before I opened my eyes to the world for the first time. I had bleached blonde hair and a nasty bump on my head. When the doctor sat down gently on the chair next to my bed and asked me a question, I could only think to respond with these words. There are 4 emergency exits on this plane, 2 at the front of the cabin and 2 at the back. A handful of nurses and other staff broke into laughter, but my doctor didn't. She asked me another question, a puzzled expression on her face, to which I replied, Please take a moment to locate your nearest emergency exit. In some cases, your exit may be behind you. That's when the room went silent. All the laughter fell out of the air. Can you tell me where you are? The doctor asked in an accent unlike my own. It took me a moment to understand her, partly because of the accent, but also because of the odd question. Where I am? I said, feeling around. Clearly, I'm in a bed. A perplexed expression crossed the doctor's face as the others looked on at the miracle that I was. Yes, but do you know where? Specifically, what country? She asked. I thought for a long while, touching the bump on my head. The bump was a flaw, and something told me that's not how this was supposed to be. People are born perfect, right? What happened to my head? You don't remember how that happened? When I shook my head and didn't offer an answer, the doctor asked me another question. Can you tell me your name? It was a simple question, but at that moment, the complexity of it weighed me down, so much so that I had a hard time breathing. Or better yet, can you tell me anything about yourself? The doctor asked. About myself? I thought long and hard. As if the people gaping at me weren't clue enough, my confusion should have been. A person shouldn't have to think so hard about that question. It should come naturally. It's me. I know me, right? But concentrating so hard made my head start to ache, and I thought I might pass out. And for all that thinking, nothing happened. Nothing. The doctor glanced at the nurses, who stared at each other, but all the looking didn't find him any answers. I started to think answers don't come that easily. I died and was reborn on June 18th in a plane crash in Ballycalla, less than 8 kilometers from Shannon Airport, and I awoke to a new life a day later in the Midwestern Regional Hospital in Ireland, not far away. When the nurse called me by name, I didn't respond. He touched my arm. Your name is Clementine, love. Clementine. I said the name over and over in my head, hoping one idea would stack on top of another and create something concrete, a person filled with a lifetime of memories. But nothing happened. Instead, I said, I have no idea who you're talking about.